one.
Yeah.
We've seen pictures of Alexander Usyk possibly preparing for kind of war in Ukraine, etc. What's your thoughts about that situation? Are you concerned about
sports? I've learned sports and politics go hand in hand, and they're powerful voices, and it's good that they're speaking up. They're not like pushing for war, they're saying let's find peace in it. So good luck to them. And that's it really. I'll go and say something wrong.
No. Final one, your thoughts on Tyson Fury now fighting DILLIAN WHYTE on the 23rd of April?
What is this now? His second defence, yeah? Or his second defence of his belt?
Well, he's fought Wilder twice in a row, so
yeah, it's a good like opponent. It's a good defence against Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte needs to come in, look at what Tyson Fury does and reacts to, and do the complete opposite. Maybe work the body and be conditioned to go the distance. But I hope Dillian trains hard, doesn't underestimate Tyson. But because it's his first shot for Dillian, I think that he'll be hungry. Do you know what I mean? This ain't like his 10th time fighting for a title, and you can have a little hiccup along the way. This is his first time fighting for the title. I'm rooting for Dillian, even though I hate him. And I want to smash him one of these days. Go on, Dillian. I'm with you all the way.
What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Paul Johnson, for sending in them coins and boosting up your man the YB's dire financial situation right now. So we just heard there from Anthony the Clone Johnston, and I'm sorry people, now obviously for copyright reasons I can't play the interview, but on IFL TV's channel you can watch it there, and the reason I say that is to stress that the audio doesn't really do it. You have to watch the man's mannerisms. I mean, the way, for example, this interview was taken at the Lawrence Okolie fight, and AJ came out walking with Lawrence Okolie's belt when he was holding it up in the air. I just don't know, it felt a bit like, oh, I haven't got any belts, let me see if I can borrow Okolie's and put it in the air. I don't know. Yeah, people, I'm sure AJ Man fans will say YB, Okolie's their best friends, and AJ's Okolie's manager, and listen, I just don't, it just feels odd to me. AJ at the moment, I don't believe it's the same man it was in 2015. Some people are saying, oh, it's the financial side of things. I think there's some sort of global agenda happening to Johnston. I'm sorry. Something just don't feel right. The way he's nervous. For example, someone Coogie Bear said to him, AJ, do you think you and Usyk are going to end up fighting? And AJ said, oh, well, it's a political situation going on, and I don't really want to say the wrong thing. I thought, the fuck? Coogan didn't ask you to comment. You know what I'm saying? This guy's scared of his own shadow. Oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. F the wrong thing. And if I did, now what? AJ, what I don't get about these guys is, and why I'm convinced AJ is some sort of agenda clone, is because if he wasn't, he'd be thinking, wait a minute, I'm worth £100 million, and I'm in the boxing industry. There's not much really I can say or do that's going to get me got. If anything, it drums up more interest. Look at Conor McGregor. What hasn't he done? He's punched old men. Yeah? He's done all sorts, and his name's, apart from the fact he's losing, his name's as big as ever. So, why is AJ so worried about, oh, I don't want to say this, and I want to take pictures, I want to be an ambassador, I want to be a global peace envoy for, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hearing, actually, the Ukraine, and I'm hearing NATO are looking to hire a Mr. Anthony Johnston's services. It's quite ironic, really, isn't it? I'm hearing that NATO are planning to sit the Ukrainian president and Mr. Putin down and put on the AJ versus Usyk fight and show them, listen people, look, AJ's proven that you can be a bigger force, i.e. you can be like Russia and still just take it. Yeah, you can be big and big for nothing looking, even though you have the force and ability, Russia, AJ, yeah, nonetheless, this shows you a perfect example of someone being big and just taking it anyway. Yeah, Russia, you're going to take them NATO forces on your border. 100%, that's what you are going to take. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that's NATO's big plan. Yeah, that's the UN Security Council's plan to get this situation, this escalation sorted out. Yeah, they're going to wheel Putin in, wheel the AJ versus Usyk fight in, and tell him, listen, Putin, bottom line is, if AJ, the big bodybuilder, can sit there and get schooled by a Ukrainian middleweight, so can you. Oops, yeah, 100%. That's the plan. So when you think about things from a global point of view, it's all adding up now, isn't it? Wait a minute. AJ gets schooled by a small middleweight, Ukrainian at that. Now all of a sudden, Ukraine's involved. And you know, I mean, one of them ones. I'm sorry, perfect example. It fits perfectly. Yeah? AJ's a talisman. AJ's a talisman for all big things in the world. If you're a big country, if you're a big powerful country, you need to know that you can be cuckolded too, just like AJ was against the middleweight. No doubt. And the fact he's still flag bearing this narrative, i.e. AJ could be, I've already said before, AJ could have easily listened to one of my videos, gone into the description, found my Twitter and said, listen YB, I've been listening to your lyrics and you're right. My team's dead, my mentality's dead. Help me get out of this global agenda cloning, yeah, mind control I'm under right now. Help me. And that could have been done easy. Told you before, no win, no fee. There's no risk to you whatsoever. Oops. Yeah. It can't get any worse for you right now. You're already a global talisman for peace. Yeah. You're already being scripted in by NATO to try and solve the world's most wildest conflicts. It's over for you. You've got nothing to lose at this point. The last thing you need is more zesties like Fernando, who you've got, who allegedly... Anyway, let's not get into any alleged things. Listen, like I said, AJ could have been in my DMs. We could have been sorted this crap out. But this shows me that people keep sending me videos, YB, but look at the training. And I can't lie. To some extent, some of his training does look better than it has done. Let's put it that way. But I see things like this, and AJ's problem against Usyk wasn't... Yeah, the technique stuff could always be better. AJ's technique is leaky. We know that. We've been knowing this. But it wasn't about technique. The underlying problem with the Usyk fight for AJ was his culture, was his mindset. And mindset's thrown around too easy. But you know what I mean? It was what it was. AJ's culture was wrong for that fight. Bottom line. And what this tells me is, even if, but look, his training's changing and this, that, the other. The fact AJ's in an interview and he's saying, I don't want to offend no one and, yeah, I told you before, if I was in AJ's camp, our whole attitude would be, listen, we've got FU money, yeah, and we're going to turn this whole ish upside down. Oops. That's simple as that. We got a whole bag of coins. We don't need no more coin. Because the only reason you need to worry about someone else is if you're worried about coin. You've got coin. So AJ, what is this about? Is this about collecting more coin at the expense of your legacy, at the expense of everything else that you're supposed to hold dear or even dearer? Or is it about coin? Well, AJ's chosen. You've heard AJ. AJ just said there, listen, I'm not bothered about being vicious. I'm bothered about getting the most coin and being a nice man and being a nice global peace envoy to NATO. Yeah? I'm here. AJ said, listen, I'm not here to be a vicious boxer. I'm not here to get stuck in and take revenge. I'm here to smooth global conflicts, to ease global conflicts. Yeah? That's AJ's job, and I respect that to some extent. But don't drag it in. Don't drag boxing into this. Go and do that somewhere else. Yeah? Go and solve world conflicts somewhere else. Stop wasting our time. Because all I see in this guy, his eyes are blank. There's no soul in there no more. The global things took his soul. He's an empty shell. That's the bottom line here, people. I hate to break it to you, I really do. Genuinely, people think I'm a hater, but I'd love to come on there and tell you that, listen, this guy, you know what I mean? I'd love to sit here and tell you that what I see is that this guy on this thing. I would. I'd love it. I mean, you've heard me for years doing the most, talking about how great AJ could be, so trust me, it's nothing to do with bias. I'd love to tell you. And maybe all the things I'm saying are wrong, and maybe he's going to pull out of the bag, but listen, I'll go with my gut feel, and I'll go with the evidence in front of me every time. Nothing will ever have me I ain't no man fan. Some of you man fan dons can't comprehend the things I say. And that's because I go based on the evidence. I don't go based on I don't go based on the popular opinion, or I don't go based on my favourite man fan. Yeah? I don't go based on what my favourite man fan's doing or saying. 100%. So anyway, listen. You heard there from AJ. I mean, the other thing as well. The whole shilly and shite business. I hate Dillian, but, you know, I hope he wins. Again, same principle. I mean, the way IFL TV are funny, clickbait. I mean, I can't lie, I clickbait too, but still, I'm broke. Yeah, listen, IFL TV are making MTK coin. They're making big coin. Trust me, if I was making sponsored coin, I wouldn't be doing no clickbait, because, listen, the coin be coming in. I'm so broke, yeah. I must clickbait. I need clickbait. I need coin. Yeah, I'm down bad. I've got coin. Listen, your man the YB has got much coin. He must donate to William Hills. Yeah, listen, YB, stop clickbaiting. Listen, if I don't clickbait, who is going to boost up William Hills' coffers? Exactly, no one, because the YB must make many donations to William Hills. Yeah, no doubt. But like I was saying, listen, your man Johnston, on this whole note, yeah, unfortunately it goes from bad to worse, because guess what? IFL TV put a video out, and it said, the title was, AJ says he hates Dillian White and he can't wait to knock him out. And I thought, wow. Before I watched the video, I thought, wow, is this a sign, or is this video going to be an example of AJ back on this thing? 2 twos. I watched the video and it turns out to be a raging clickbait. What AJ really says is what you heard at the start of this video. AJ says, oh, you know, I don't really like Dillian, but I love him really, and I hope he really does well against Fury, and I hope this, I hope that. Now, some people in the comments pointed out the first thing. Number one, I mean, again, I'm sure some of you AJ Man fans are going to say, oh no, YB, he wasn't sucking Dillian off, he wasn't being moist, he was, you know what I mean? Oh, this, that, the other. AJ really want the smoke, and yeah, this, that, the other. Listen, let me tell you now. The only reason AJ said he hates Dillian and he can't wait to knock him out is because AJ is setting the scene to sell the Dillian White rematch. As I've told you, as we know, AJ is all about the coin now. Everything he does is about coin. Step aside, coin. Yeah, everything AJ does now is for coin, nothing else. It's not about anything else. So it's no surprise AJ brought Dillian into the situation nicely, because he knows, wait there a minute, Dillian, that me and him, that's my only option. If when Usyk pushes my wig back, Dillian White is the option. Especially if, obviously, if Fury beats Dillian, then that's the only option for both men. So AJ's got that in the back of his mind. If that fight wasn't in the back of his mind, he wouldn't have mentioned nothing about, I hate him and I can't wait to knock him out. That was the first thing. And the second thing was, even when he wasn't selling and pitching the Dillian White fight, ready for when he gets, after he's been filled in by Usyk, the other half of things was the fact that AJ, even when he's trying to sell a fight, his moistness is still oozing through him, which shows me he ain't making the changes he needs to. For example, if I was in the camp, if AJ was working with me, yeah, there wouldn't be no, oh, I wanna fill Dillian in, yeah, I wanna sell lots of pay-per-views for Dillian once I've been knocked out by Usyk, but I hate him, and you know, I hope he does well, and all this other stuff. I hate Dillian, but I hope he does well. AJ, that's a contradiction. Yeah, who are you? Are you someone's auntie? You sound like Dillian White's auntie. Oh, I hate the little bugger, but I love him really. What? That's what it sounded like to me. 100%. Oh, I hate Dillian, but you know, he's a little bugger, but I love him really. That's all I heard. Yeah, I hate Dillian, but I really hope he does well. What? This man Dillian has mugged you your whole career, and then you knocked him out, and honestly, this is how I know AJ's been cloned. Because when AJ knocked Dillian out, yeah, he turned around, he had a smirk on his face, and he didn't even go over there. He just left the dude slumped. And the bad blood was maintained. And remember after the fight, Dillian White was big mad because Stormzy stayed punking him. And that was how the narrative was left. And after the fight, AJ even said, listen, Dillian can't say nothing. to Stormzy, because I'll take his head off again. That's how, honestly, that's how AJ left it. Because Stormzy made a song about Dillian, and basically, Dillian was mad saying, "Oh, Stormzy, you can get it." And AJ said, "Listen, Dillian won't do nothing to Stormzy. Yeah, that's what he won't do." That was the vibe it was left on. 2-2s, 5 years later. And AJ's wishing him well, and, you know, I'm his auntie, and I love him. Even though we've gone through it, I love him really. He'll always be my family. That's the kind of vibe AJ's giving out. It's like, what the fuck? It's weird, and then again, it links back into the whole Okoli thing. Walking out, holding Okoli's belt up, like he's a sideman. Honestly, I think AJ likes to be a sideman. I think he likes to be cucked. Genuinely. That's the vibe I get. I think he enjoys it. He enjoys. And in all fairness, it's not actually... There's a lot of business... A lot of successful people are into this kind of stuff. A lot of people with a lot of power in the corporate world, they go home and they pay some next, you know what I mean? They pay some next buck to rail their wife and whatnot. 100%. That's what they do. Yeah. A lot of these dons you work for, who use, "Oh yes boss, no boss," and they give it the real hard one at work. Well, you know what I mean? A lot of the people you work with in management and directorial positions and executive positions, they go home and their wife gets the long one from the back. You best believe that, yeah? And they sit there and watch. And I'm afraid to say, AJ, he part of that group now. Yeah, he liked that. He liked walking out like a sideman, holding up one of his... You're meant to be... AJ is supposed to be Okoli's Big Nick. Yeah? You're meant to be Big Nick. You're Side Nick right now. You're Side Nick. Okoli's supposed to be the one holding your belts and walking out. That's what Lil Nicks do. Yeah? Okoli's supposed to be Lil Nick to you. Not the other way around. Walking out there holding the belt like a sideman. I'm sorry, but that's the vibe the whole way through this. It stinks of sideman. It stinks of auntie. And that's the end of that. I won't hear no more about it. And again, I'd love to sit here and tell you something different, but that's what the facts are saying. Yeah? AJ could have come out and said, "Listen, I don't give a F about, I don't know about you. I don't know about Ukraine, that's not my business, yeah? I ain't a politician. I ain't no El Political. Ask Bojo. I'm here to push wigs back. Ask me about whose wig's getting it. Ask me about how I'm going to rearrange Usyk wig." Yeah, that's how AJ should have answered it. Not, "Oh, I don't want to offend no one, and I could offend someone. What are they going to do? Yeah? I'm the heavyweight champ of the world. If I want to offend someone, who can do something about it? Oops, 100%. And about Dillian, listen, what AJ should have said is, "Listen, if Fury don't push Dillian's wig back, I'll push it back for him. Yeah? Either way, someone pushing it back." That's the end of that. I couldn't care less for Dillian. About I hope he does well. What am I? Listen, about I hope he does well. What am I, his auntie? That's what you should have said. Yeah. Do you hope he does well? What? What his auntie? Yeah. What are we doing here? Are you the heavyweight champ of the world with rivals, or are you the heavyweight champion auntie who work? "Oh, I hope he really does well." And, "Oh, that's it, Dillian. Have you done your training? Have you got your lunch? Have you got your lunchbox? I'll make sure you got your lunchbox before you go to the gym, Dillian. My name's Auntie my name's Auntie Anthony. Yeah, my name is Auntie Anthony. And make sure, Dillian, you got your nice packed lunch ready for training. I'll be home before you get back, ready to tuck you into bed." That's what AJ be sounding like right now. I hope you do really well at training. I hope you do really well against Fury, and I'll be here to cook dinner afterwards. Yeah, auntie sounding arse. And actually, just before I go, I've listened to it back again, and another little moist bar that Auntie AJ slips in there. He says, "Oh yeah, well, you know, Dillian, he's not like me. He's not on his 10th title defense. This is his first defense, so he's going to be motivated." Wow. That there is basically AJ's trying to subliminally, whatever that word is, yeah, that one there. He's trying to subliminally signal to all the fans, psyop the fans that, "Oh yeah, well, you know, it's It's alright for me to lose. It's alright for me to be unmotivated because I was 10 title defences in. But Dillian, he's on his first one, so he'll be much more motivated, unlike I was. How embarrassing. And that's why, people, all you AJ Man fans, now you know why I've told him to retire. Because even now, 6 months later, he's still making excuses. Oh, well, it was okay for me to be floppy in front of 70,000 fans because I had 10 title defences. So it's alright for me to make a mistake and have a slip up. What? Fix up. Yeah? Because if I was in the count, there wouldn't be no slipping up. I'll be on your neck 24/7. Yeah? The only thing that will be slipping will be a disc in your neck from the YB being on it, 100%.